Welcome to another edition of the Then and Now program. I'm your host and presenter, Prince Emil Kroma. Today, the 6th of January 2019, a brand new year. So I wish you all a very happy new year. I hope so we will not be here last year. We will get on this year. And by God in power, also by our own power, God will answer with prayer then. As you can already see, ladies and gentlemen, the question here today is whether the SLPP government will capitulate to the pressure, the tactics, the intimidation of the All People's Congress. But something where they say they find very unfair. And this is not something we will only discuss for the last few months. Between the last few weeks, it's been very heated. The SLPP government say they want arrest corruption, and the former government ministers them under the All People's Congress. Therefore, answer them question there. But the question here is, are they the only ones? Okay? So, Bakuti for we talk today, pardon me, and we need for talking within a short period of time. So, I want to begin with corruption. Now, something where they thrive inside any institution where truth and accountability can be negotiated. Okay? Throughout the history of man, ladies and gentlemen, public officials then they exhibit their power and display the thief with the non-thief, public money, we money them, and they display them with triumph and can exhibit them in such a way that it can show the disparity between the haves and the have-nots, and the gap so wide and continue for widening, either by the fleet of cars, very expensive fleet of cars, or by the mansions, the big hosts, them exotic houses and other things them, and so they can take for exhibit their wealth. And of course, this can sort of protect them and they can see themselves all the way up there. But accountability not over only political opponents, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we particular society, USA we come out and they talk about this evening, or I want to talk about this evening. It shows that facts and laws does not really matter, because everything we want to come for matter. The rich and the powerful, and they come together and try to crush that, and that we, the very people, need to get we how we want to get them. For stop certain things then from happening, so that everything, the pie, even if it's not evenly or equally shared, but it will trickle down to the rest of the society. But the mightier than thous, ladies and gentlemen, then get the power for stop we, for control we, and sometimes then crush very peaceful protests where people like one hold for sure say they're not happy with the way how things they go. Governments of yesterday, governments of today, then can order their security forces, because the security forces then they're under them, okay, to either beat, arrest, jail, then when they protest against them, they intimidate them. Sometimes they can even brutalize people from the Fourth Estate, and they talk about journalists, where they write against them. Governments, all over the world, knocking like journalists and they write against them, but they can find a way how they can deal with that in a civilized society. Some governments, they can get real hatred for journalism or journalists as a whole. The baking of democracy, for example, the United States under Donald Trump, they hate journalists then so much that not even they hide them. Yeah, they say them publicly. And this is not the situation where journalists they write something where governments of the day they're knocking leg. You don't necessarily get for be a supporter of their tactics and they where go reflect them goals and they where them people and they stand for. Their idea and they're really dangerous. And this is why we must stand up. It's not an either or situation. It's you have to belong. If you find and say, right, you have to stand up, here and together we need for begin for condemn. Okay? We need for begin for condemn together. They will go try for quiet way down, intimidate people then like a we when they talk to, you know, use all kinds of tactics, and when they see them, good people who are engaged in nation building, then will try for intimidate you, then will try for you know, coerce you and do all kinds of things. And it's not only government, you know, it also applies to other people then, but then belong to a side where they can use from intimidate people then. The good thing and the bad thing at the same time is social media don't create a function for we all, if you like, but some of them, you know, are really kind of negative, and I don't need to speak extensively on that because those of us waiting at the chat room and those who get for listening later know exactly what the story is, that this is quite true. And what we talk now are all about facts, okay? Some so negative that it shows this is not the function of them, very value them where they stand for. Not of us say that even they pretend, okay? It's easy, ladies and gentlemen, for press a button, you know, nowadays and just go live to the rest of the world. But my question here is, where are the organic speakers? If you understand what I mean, organic speakers, where are they? So social media is full of information. But the question I want to ask is, what kind of information? What kind of information? I know say between us, we, you, and everybody else, we need the information where it will contain knowledge. But where is the knowledge, or where the knowledge inside this information they will get? We bokuso na social media, okay? We need to forget them, okay? We did talk about the information, but with the knowledge, with the inside the information. Ladies and gentlemen, all the thing they talk now is quite serious. And when they ask, where are the institutions we're supposed to monitor all the things there where they happen? And this night exactly bring me to today's topic, where I say the looming showdown has begun. When I begin to develop this topic some time ago, of course the showdown will be don't begin yet, but will be no say it come. Okay? When they set up the Anti-Corruption Commission, we know definitely there was going to be a showdown. And the recent one, we are termed as the showdown has begun, in effect, really and truly, is the recent arrest and detention of the former Deputy Minister of Defense under the erstwhile APC government, Paulo Conte. Okay? We know what happened at the city of Freetown, but before I proceed, you know, the topic continue for say the country day in a kind of fragile state, because you will see the topic where I put there. Why the SLPP and All People's Congress opposition are hurting the nation and then creating a state of insecurity in an already fragile state. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we said we were going to be speaking truth to power, and this is exactly what we intend to do. Both parties are culpable. Both parties are responsible for the state of affairs. Government need for understand, say, inner government. Opposition need for understand, say, inner opposition. Before I go deep into today's discussion, I really want to set the record straight, okay? I want to list, you know, a list of achievements of the APC government under Anesbai Koroma. This is important because, you know, I'm always out there. Those of you who are in the chat room know that I'm very proactive out there. And every day, even last night, I got caught out in a conversation and came home late to try to prepare for this particular subject matter. And you find out, see, there is so much ignorance out there in terms of the achievements of government, past and present, that it needs to be articulated. It needs to be said. So therefore, waiting at the achievements of Anesbai Koroma and the All People's Congress, anytime when you talk about achievements and developments under APC, all you hear people and they talk about roads. And people say they're not fed up with this road talk, road, although it's quite important. Some people they want downplay them seriously, and some other people are just because they don't know. So today, before I go any further, I really want to talk a little bit about the road and other development under APC and Ernest Bai Koroma, which is quite important. So under the APC government, by the way, we're not a road no more, but I want to begin with road because now one of the most tangible, physical, what we see every day every time when we travel back home, those of us that live in the diaspora and the people in back. And road network is quite good. Some people can say, let's talk about roads. Why shouldn't you? If you're not been there and you're now there, and you provide, you get this network of roads where make access easily accessible for people. And these are some of the achievements of the All People's Congress, okay, under Ernest Bai Koroma. More than 1,500 miles of paved roads completed, and not say half complete. Listen to me again, ladies and gentlemen, one final straw. And I go over this because now everyday arguments out there that every time they talk about the achievements of the All People's Congress, and by default under the leadership of Ernest Bai Koroma, all you hear about na roads. And he said, but more than 1,500 miles of paved roads completed, not halfway, not undone. These are facts. Everything what the states now today, this net, are facts, not opinions, please. And this include trunk roads, city and township roads. 1. All cities and townships road. 2. Port Loko Lunge Road. 3. Mato Road. 4. Kenema Pendembu. 5. Makeni Kabala. 6. Makeni Kamakwe. 7. Bo. And many more that I can't list because, I mean, it's exhaustive and we need to move on because away from roads, imagine how significant is that, by the way. And away from roads, ladies and gentlemen, water. I just get this heated discussion yesterday, net, where I emphatically say that Ernest Bai Koroma, under the All People's Congress, in terms of development, he walked past all previous leadership, governments put together, not one by one, all put together since independence. Emphatic statement, the emphasis is mine. Check the archives, do your research, and like I say, this is not facts. And I let it say out of bias, out of a sense of belonging, other than try for stress no more facts, because we come to a point and the reasons then again why I decide for do this. In terms of water, Kailang, Bo, Kenema, Makeni, Mile 91, Pukehun, Port Loko, Kabala, Lunge, Lonsa, and many more. Imagine this, water around the entire country. And of course, the country, north, east, west, south, somewhere along is the Atlantic Ocean, away from the ocean, south, southeast, north, everybody benefits out of the development there. So I don't deal with roads, I don't outline them, and I say these are facts, you can quote me, okay? And I go to water, I just don't name the side and Usai waterborne projects were done by the All People's Congress Party, okay? Now we go to energy. These are the sources of infrastructure and development now any country, okay? Any country. And these are the achievements and developments under Ernest Bai Koroma and the All People's Congress. Energy, Lunge, Charlotte Hydro, Bangasoka, Port Loko. And I'll just say something quickly about Bangasoka because all time again there can be an argument, over Bangasoka as per Kande Yumkela and Ion and Pogamo Ibwinkam under Bangasoka. Yes, Kande Yumkela gets something for do with them, but the All People's Congress and then come and complete with loans and Chinese money and the rest of it. So that credit the Dr. Kande Yumkela gets credit, part credit inside it, but this happened under the All People's Congress and then complete. So I repeat again, energy, Lunge, Charlotte Hydro, Bangasoka, Port Loko, Makali Hydro, Bumbuna Hydro, okay? Bumbuna Hydro, Adax, Kono, Bumbuna Phase 2, Bo Kenema, solar street lights for towns and cities. Many, and that now energy, okay? That's just energy. I also want to talk about the expansion of the Queen Elizabeth Quay, what we can call Water Quay, through Bologna. Okay, the extension of the port facilities for accommodate more goods, more ships, and for ready for development, where eventually will come, where everybody, citizens and governments yet to come, will benefit from. Okay, under the APC leadership, expansion of the Queen Elizabeth Quay. Health. Free healthcare for pregnant women, children under 5 years of age, and nursing moms. Over 1,270 peripheral health units, for short called PHUs. Chinese hospital at Jue, and many more, ladies and gentlemen. These are just some of the few achievements, developmental goals, development, tangible, physical, that are there today as we speak. So ladies and gentlemen, take this from me. Let's do our research just to confirm what I'm saying, and I stand by every word that I've said here, because it is true, it is a fact, no opinion, and I hope this sets the record. Please. Now, we really need to make progress. Having said this, we really need to make progress. So having said all of this, ladies and gentlemen, we know say, Pana work all the work, so I just outlined, there were bad things that happened. In other words, corruption was massive. It was massive, okay? And somewhere in between the line, when APC lost election, where I will deal with in another segment of this program, the SLPP government will win the election, decide, say, and this I think now been campaign promise, that they will arrest corruption. Corruption needs to be arrested. Corruption for any state is no good. Okay? Pardon me. It's no good. But this is what happened. When they institute all the instruments there regarding corruption from the transitional report, we recommend another instrument, and by virtue we pass now parliament, we make them legal. Unfortunately, although APC, the representatives in the parliament, will happen to be the largest, no agree, okay, but they fail for reach the 2/3 majority for stop this anti-corruption formation, will become a legal instrument, with now the ruling party they use for judge, then one they will then deem as having indulged in corrupt practices in the past under the All People's Congress Party. But the All People's Congress Party, according to press releases and the rest of it, seem for smell, see a false flag operation on the part of the ACC, in the sense that the italics say now the normal, according to them, now the normal the ACC the target. If they say that everybody will serve between 2007, that's the All People's Congress beginning of the term of service, 2007 when they win elections, to the end 2018 when they lost after a runoff, that every minister, every head of agency, now suspects. So therefore, they will hold them accountable and come, they need for come to the ACC and can defend themselves, okay? The APC, they contest this, saying that the instrument, it don't get a court or a rule of evidence where it's supposed to get. So basically, the APC's real bone of contention is this entire process is questionable. There are issues regarding procedural impropriety. So therefore, they call them a witch hunt, or they call them a kangaroo court, and they've said clearly that they're not going to subject the former ministers, not the heads of departments and agencies, to such a court where they deem for be illegitimate. Now let me say illegitimate, but in its actions, illegitimate. I am quoting some of their officials, and they publicly on both national television and AYTV and the rest of them, that they're not going to subject themselves to that kind of court, and they will then consider for be a kangaroo court. So SLPP say, no, this is not the case. The APC say, this is the case. APC still go on for, quote, legal sources, especially so the 1991 Constitution, the APC, they say that the proceedings of this court, it violates section 150 and 149.4 of the 1991 Constitution. Okay, in other words, the instrument for have the rule of a court committee and if for have the rule of evidence, and it seems like the ACC lack this. But what in the ACC they say, and the defendants of the ACC is like, well, this is not a commission. I mean, it's not a court. It's not a court. Anything will happen now recommend, then go recommend to the courts for let the courts do what they're supposed to do because now they empower for do so. So in other words, anything again will happen now is appealable. That means whatever they convict, you know, they can, that person they can appeal. Anybody with them hold responsible for any one of them charges then they, whether they bring against them, then person and they then get the right for appeal. Okay? But the point here again that the APC they make is like, it seems like the ACC now people are from one side of the region no more than they hold. Yeah? And at one side of the party, now no more than they hold. Even though people left, they will serve under the APC between 2007 to 2018. And then people and they happen, I hate for saying this, but these are just the facts that they belong to one region and then belong to a one tribe. Hello? I'm online, my friend. Where are you? But I'm live, man. I'm live.
I can't see you. Oh, sorry, I can't see you when I'm trying to go.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, try. I'm live. Bye-bye. Goodness me. Yeah, the guy just disturbed my flow. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just continue where I was. The APC, they say, obviously that they're not going to subject themselves to this court for reasons that way I don't state. Like it looked like say now one sort of people in this court they invite, now then they target and the rest of it, and then they will subject themselves. They even go on for names like the present where they serve people and we serve under the APC between 2007 to 2018 or in between that period there, where today now the other government, the SLPP government, are in senior capacities and they serve in senior capacities. Example where they give is the secretary to the president. The current president is Excellency Julius Maada Bio. The financial secretary, they name a few. The Minister of Trade, the Minister of Mines, and so far and so forth and so on. They name quite a few. And the thing is, you know, yeah, really questionable. It's like, why this for the happen? I mean, if they may say everybody, every head of agency and the rest of them, why are these people not implicated? Why is it only people different from those people in terms of region and tribe that are now going to be facing the ACC? So the APC say they smell, you know, yeah, a kind of false flag operation way now for target them. So therefore they not go subject the people there to this particular thing. And we see the showdown where I talk about what I said on begin, where then someone Paulo Conte and then the APC summon the base, they pull people in a street where in a civil disorder, where in some instances it's not right, okay? It's not right, but when you get your strong card in a case where you're weak, that's what you do, that's what you resort to, okay? That's what you resort to. So APC request for them base for Jompna Street, for provoke some situation. Fortunately for the nation, although it not go down well, but it was, you know, yeah, handled in such a way that everybody, you know, yeah, kind of back off. And I hope there are discussions, and that's what we call for. There are discussions going on behind the lines as we speak right now. More questionable things is like how minority will pass law where they can govern, you know, yeah, the majority. These are some of the claims they wouldn't make. But again, it was legal instrument, and APC failed for overturn this legal instrument by not achieving the 2/3 majority required. Again, they see like a false flag operation against them, and therefore they see they not go subject themselves to a court where they deem as kind of illegitimate. The thing what they ask now is civil liberty, then the civil forces then na freedom. And the Interreligious Committee, and other peace-loving Sierra Leoneans, they are now calling for a peace mechanism where the need for use for implement or break the current impasse within the country. There's an impasse. I talked on one of me earlier tape. Now the country, some of the problems of the commission they highlight and it stems from the fact that when you actually look at the parameters of the court, it really not clear. It really not clear because you need for clear then things there, to be honest, so that the ambiguity then with they go, sort of set them apart so that people then go really understand the way forward. What is it about? Who is it targeting? What is it calling for? What does it really say to the letter? But like I say, the parameters are unclear. The commission itself, it appear like say the time when they commence in work, it almost like premature and even though illegal, but a premature. And where is the corruption evidence? Because if you don't get that evidence there, now you take bring up against the people and when you summon. But as I understand, this evidence is not there. So there's so many questions, and it appear like say APC don't see or kind of hole or kind of opening where now in the use so now for defend themselves. Because remember saying that they on the defense and then go use anything, in the book, outside of the book for defend themselves. It's that kind of situation where it's either fight or flight. The position where APC did now, there is no situation where it involves flight. Like say you can go away from them. No, there is no way. So they are cornered. And when you're cornered, you know what happens. This is where the fight back mentality comes from, which is what exactly they are doing. Okay? Having said this, ladies and gentlemen, we equally, they say, along with peace-loving Sierra Leoneans, that both sides get an argument. The APC say rules of evidence are absent. The commission is not, and that's what the commission is saying, and the government is saying the commission is not judicial. I don't say this already. And so therefore, at the end of the process, that recommendation now they make on the findings, where the entire process comes to an end. Government now is being accused of politicizing the situation and even compromising the police. The opposition are accusing the government of compromising the police. This is laughable, isn't it? In a situation such as what happened, what do you expect the government to do? But to call out, the law enforcement side of things for letting them come take care of things, which they did. They had to call out the police. I don't know whether the police been heavy-handed, but my understanding is the party headquarters of the All People's Congress was surrounded. Tear gas was used, and I think rubber bullet was used. 1 or 2 people were injured from that incident day, and about a number of people, probably over a dozen, a little over a dozen people were arrested. I don't know the situation now, but considering that this was many days ago, 3 days you get for holding people, and if you don't charge them, then you have to let them go. Probably that's the situation. They will have been released by now. So government itself, they're under immense pressure, on how to execute a constitutional responsibility as required by Chapter 2 of the Sierra Leone 1991 Constitution, which is the responsibility for protect the peace, the welfare, and security of the country. And in a case where that situation is threatened, or there's a looming situation in which the peace, security, and welfare of the state is threatened, the government gets a responsibility, in fact, than an enforced responsibility for restore law and order. But this is a situation which is very fluid, and we really have to be careful here, how we move on. Now, I want to move on to the APC, seriously. After I talked about them earlier on, I want to move on to them. I want to really move on to them. Really move on to them in a different way, ladies and gentlemen. And this is it. I talked earlier on about the responsibility on both parts, how they need for exercise responsibilities. Okay? APC need to understand sitting in our position. And when they say this, I did say this 9 months ago, 8 months ago, 4 months ago, and there were people that questioned this, but of course they know now and the rest of it. No, up till now, some people don't know this, or the way they are going about it is sort of a bit shocking because the facts are not yet being accepted. And cases have been made as we speak, as the majority is being governed by the minority. You know. And this is where some of the friction is coming from. But like I say, I can deal with the APC in a different sense and try for rest my case from today on. Because I don't deal with this situation many a times. But today I want to go deeper. I don't highlight the developmental goals of the APC, what they do, and let people understand this and I stand by every word where I say in terms of the development by the APC and all governments previously put together since independence to 2006, they don't match up to the development we APC do between 2007 2018. And I don't highlight them away from roads where most of us know either willfully or unwillfully. Don't talk about energy, don't talk about water, and many more are not able for go into because of time and space. Yeah. Now, before the election, APC appoint the chairman of NEC, Mfa Ali. This is not a story where we all know. Most of what they say, we all know. Now, the context in which they put them, which they try to arrive at, now it's really important, and I want to know yes, there, please. And I can comment as well as we move along. Even though the party now appoints the chairman of NEC, it still cry foul and accuse a young appointee of foul play. Remember, Sylvia Blinded, with all of the ifs and buts around Sylvia, he won in young party, the APC, against this very chairman. I mean, these are a list of things that I want to highlight, will happen along the way to elections and the runoff, where a fine for an APC take a back step, study properly what thing went on, accept responsibility, govern itself thoroughly as a political heavyweight in the country with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of supporters where we know say they get, and get ready for 2023. Okay? So Sylvia Blinding wondered, but remember, Mfa Ali, where APC condemned, now them penguin, now they appoint this man. Okay? APC turn around and complain so bitterly about the your appointee that it was laughable. Because who you go complain to somebody where now you appoint her and now you then a power. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that voter registration was not used for the runoff? Sylvia Blinded again challenged this, but wait till he come to back, zilt after that challenge day. But you know the implication not to so that voter registration was not used for the runoff. All what I'm stating here again are facts, just like what I said previously. Again, this that I'm saying again, I stand by them and I speak directly to the All People's Congress. There were also complaints about less voter machines in the North. Even though critically the North happened to be the largest in terms of region of the country, but there were less voter machines up there in the North. And yet, now the APC, now the Minde in government. Oh my God. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to take a drink of my coffee. Don't cool now. Okay. There were less voter machines. Now the North, even though the North, now the largest. There is also the issue, or there was also, in fact, no was, because this thing here is still there on and it's not been resolved up till now. It's not been addressed in the manner and fashion in which more people supporting the All People's Congress that felt deprived, that felt alienated by this action of their very own party has not been addressed in as much as Tengoleka. And these are the issue of Tusim, ladies and gentlemen. We all remember the issue of Tusim. Mr. Karimu, the number is 077 4010 7250. Again, the number for contact is 077 4010 7250. Anybody wishing to contact the studio to make contribution It won't be long. It might take 5 minutes or 2 minutes of people's time because I really want to wrap up as soon as possible. As soon as possible. But let's remember, there was the issue of TUSIM, okay? This issue has not been resolved as yet, as people who felt aggrieved, who felt deprived, who felt alienated by their very own party, the All People's Congress. And up till now, that issue is left open. And yet there is so much more going on, okay, regarding the issue of TUSIM, which has not yet been addressed. People have lost their lives because of that action, okay? It seems like the issue of TUSIM had, well, plenty to do with Dr. Kandekole Yumkela. I said we were going to be talking facts here today, and after doing my homework, I realized that this being something for do. Now, something where we accept in the past, but the emphasis which people have they try to make an appeal like say, this was wholly and solely directed at Dr. Kandekole Yumkela was not true, because the APCBC, the NGC as a social club there. But I'm beginning to understand a different perspective regarding this entire situation, that Dr. Kande Yumkela will get something strongly to do with the actions taken by the All People's Congress in terms of the TUSIM. So the APC sacrificed in Yom Pikindem, you know, just for this attempt at marginalizing one person when we're supposed to be a political heavyweight, okay, and sacrifice in Yom Pikindem. People that will contribute heavily, people that will support the party heavily, people that will be there with the party from the very beginning. We make all kinds of sacrifices. Then one day we be there both now. Some people then trust money in the diaspora. Some people then put osusu, then take people their money. 30 days, then owe some people them. 30 days, some people are left on debt for go support this party. Let's say it as it is. Let's keep it 100, ladies and gentlemen. Those people were cut off because the application of the TUSIM rule, when they go pull common inside the constitution, why we see different then, but see and different now, it affects all of these people. And like I've been saying, people that lost their lives, may all those that lost their lives as a consequence of this, may all of them the soul find eternal peace. I also forget for commemorate this program to with people that will die during the January 6th invasion of the RUF into Freetown. This now a significant occasion where almost slipped my mind. Thank God I remember. So I commemorate this particular occasion, this particular first broadcast of the year, Sunday, the very first Sunday, January, the very first month, inside a brand new year, 2019. January 6, victims, may their souls rest in eternal peace. And all that these people died for, may we realize that this is what we talk about is been like a process in the making for quite a long time. We not just arrive here as by fate. Now, series of issues happen along the way for let we arrive where we are. Okay. So the issue of TUSIM not settled, and then we want to move away from that. And this not will happen because people then still feel aggrieved. Okay. Despite the majority of MPs where the APC gets inside the house, they still lost the speakership. Having said this, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, it's clear for say there is equally an argument for be made, which is we know what happened and then they go over that again. But yes, then we get the majority, and when you get the majority, it's almost like the speakership for the House, a very important, key, significant position, it evaded because of some tactic applied by the ruling party, which I'm not going to go into detail. So despite this majority, they still lost the speakership. Another issue again, where they in the limelight, going back then, is the issue of Sam Sumana, once upon a time the Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, who was unconstitutionally fired but was made to be constitutional by the erstwhile Attorney General of the Republic, Joseph Fitzgerald Camara. They made the citizens to understand that the firing of the erstwhile vice president was legal. That was illegal. The erstwhile vice president could not gain, how would you call it, justice within, but had to go outside and went to ECOWAS. ECOWAS, in the end, ruled in favor of Alhaji Dr. Sam Sumana, that what the APC government did to him, whether the APC wants to call it, no, it was his human right, it wasn't the sackings or the sacking of the him as a vice president, but it was his human right that was tampered with. That's what was ruled against. Whichever way you want to put it, the idea is a sitting vice president was fired. Okay? Up till now, that issue has not gone away. We see that an olive branch is being extended. But before this olive branch was extended, it's not only now, it was then, before the elections. The All People's Congress begged Sam Sumana. Sam Sumana agreed. But yet, the people of Konno, that valiant district of Konno, they never accepted the apology. Sam Sumana was just a son of, and could not win the sympathy of his people, even though publicly he forgave the APC for what they did to him. But the people of Konno, again, that valiant district, refused to accept that and voted against instead of for. Okay? So, before continuing, these are just some of the issues faced by the All People's Congress, who was in government then, shortly before the elections. Hello, caller. Welcome to the Den and Now. Will you state your name, where you're calling from, and your contribution, please?
Yeah, my name is Roland Karimo.
Yep. All right. Welcome to the program. You sound like a first-timer. You will have to lower your equipment in the background so that we can establish a clear channel.